What is up, RetroManiacs? Welcome to the Retro Card Chat Podcast. My name is Mike, and I am from Mike's Retro Trading Cards. And I'm joined by two men that, here's the thing. They made this video special for today. A special Monday morning video for you. Special. They are Joe Day and EP Eric Bahalik. How you doing, boys?
Let's work it out. That's from High Fidelity, everyone.
Yeah,
that was a
totally
High Fidelity
the
quote.
microphone on that. We
He did.
Thank God. It was like karma for editing right there. Yes, High Fidelity. Crack it out the High Fidelity.
Such a good movie.
If you guys have not seen High Fidelity,
seen
you need to watch it. And Jack Black's character, that's Joe Day.
It really is
Joe Day without the musical talent at the end.
Actually, I have more musical talent than Tenacious D, but EP is kind of like the not the scrawny part, but he's kind of like the scrawny guy in that movie too. Very quiet, very like strange.
Mm-hmm.
And you're our John Cusack. You own the shop, so yeah.
Very relatable to us.
It is very relatable.
Levels, So, how's it going, boys? Now that everybody's turned off the podcast, how's it going?
High Fidelity,
actually.
Hold
special.
on.
Thank you, Mike.
Hold on. Let's keep talking about High Fidelity for a minute. High Fidelity, there was a TV show, which was also very, very good. Was that on FX or Hulu? One of those.
Hulu. Yeah.
But it was really, really good as well. They flipped the gender roles there a little bit. The owner of the store was Lenny Kravitz's daughter, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, High Fidelity. We can end the podcast now. Just
Lisa
go watch High
Bonet's
Fidelity.
daughter too. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Lisa Bonet's daughter,
who was
yes.
one of the stars of the first, the
High
original.
Fidelity.
Movie,
Yes, the OG. Yes,
I really liked the TV series because it stayed in line with the actual movie. Like the story was
absolutely. They added a little bit of stuff here and there, but for the most part, it was some of the quotes actually direct, like the one I just swore at. Was a direct lift from the movie. So yes, High Fidelity. Take that away with you, everyone.
Yes,
that's the way.
Very good movie.
Very
good. How's it going?
I'm not cracking open a beer today. I need to save the liver.
Are you feeling okay?
I'm feeling great, and I want to stay feeling great.
Okay.
Beerfest is coming up this coming Saturday, and I need to keep everything rejuvenated. I need to rejuvenate a little bit before Beerfest. So I'm not drinking this week. I'm going to try and grow the liver back a little bit. I think that's how it works.
Yeah.
And then
definitely. You just stop drinking for a week and your liver becomes perfectly fine.
Totally fine.
Yeah.
If you're in the Pittsburgh area, swing by the Beerfest. I will be there. I'm volunteering. I pour beers. It is a hell of a good time. Try to get EP out there. He wussied out on me. Something about I can't drive 4 hours after Beerfest to come back to Danville bullshit. Yeah. So yes, if you are in the Pittsburgh area and you like beer, come to the Beerfest.
Get an Uber.
I have a family responsibility. I need to be at 10 a.m. Sunday morning. I don't think that would work out very well. I would still be drunk at 10 a.m. I am going to crack open a beer. I'm a little sad I have to drink by myself, but what I got to do for you guys is
I was going to also have a beer, but then my wife said at 11 o'clock, so I figured about it.
I mean, it's 11:50 now, so
I know I should have told her that. It's almost noon. It's not. It's 7 a.m.
I was going to say, to be fair, it is 7 a.m. Yeah. 60-minute IPA. That's a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, EP, I have a surprise for you.
What's that?
I have something here I think you might be interested in because you are the member of the panel here that likes to chew old gum.
I do.
Well, I opened up a box of 2001 Topps Heritage football. The video should, I don't know, it'll be up sometime.
In the next couple of years.
But look at that.
Oh my gosh.
They're even wrapped.
That
I have all of these for you.
They look really gross. Why are they? What
really
color is
really
that?
gross.
What color is that?
Kind of pliable.
They are still, yeah.
Bubblegum color.
They're yellowish.
That's actually
somehow.
yeah. That's way less.
Green. It's probably just like the plastic that they're in.
those are way less vintage than I normally go for. You know, I like the 1987 stuff, the 1982 stuff, 1985
but I have
stuff.
a whole like I figured we
try.
could do a video where you just stick one piece after another and chew it all at once.
I think the next live stream.
All right,
actually,
okay.
Yeah,
all right.
It's like a live
chew
stream.
all of that gum at one time.
All right,
without dying.
I'm in. Let's do it. Let's do it.
We better have like a medical professional.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna swallow it. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. I can't see any issue with that plan whatsoever.
Mike, Amy has a medical background, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
She's
absolutely.
an
Send your wife.
Yeah.
Over to EP's house for the live stream to keep
She can consult. She can phone consult. It's fine. Everything's gonna be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll just have her on Zoom. Yeah, we'll be good.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, so we got our little channel lineup for this. How about last week? I dropped a special Thursday Star Trek video on the channel, since a lot of people that have watched admit to being Star Trek nerds. I'm not one of them, but he is.
Big time.
And you guys are watching it, so thank you. Bravo for that.
Yes.
And if you haven't watched it and you like Star Wars, Star Trek. Sorry, like what are you doing? Why?
Star Wars is the good one. Star Trek's great as well, but Star Wars is
so much better. But like, why are you here? What if
Star Wars is about violence and overthrow and all that stuff. Star Trek is about unity and making the universe a better place. So
it's kind of like how like if you do sports car content about all the shadiness and all the controversial stuff, you get a lot of views, and if you talk about collecting, you don't get any. So
Star Trek is the collecting, Star Wars is like sports card radio, and EP is a big fan of both Star Wars and sports card radio.
Yes,
so that checks out. I need to talk about the live stream real quick. Our live stream. I put the challenge out there to everyone. We get 100 likes and EP will shave his head. Okay. I have to admit, I am wildly disappointed with our subscribers. We are 64 likes away, which means EP is not going to shave his head.
I am not going to, even if we get 100, dude.
For only 36 likes, he got a haircut. That's it. That's all he's doing for 36 likes. Now you can see the male pattern baldness a little bit better. But yeah, I hate to call out our viewers and our subscribers, but man, oh man, I was counting on you. I wanted to see that guy with a big bald head.
Is it me though, or does the EP look really old for somebody that's only 28?
Yeah.
I was shocked to find out he was only 28 years old, and he looks like he's like almost 50. So interesting stuff. But Wednesday, we have our Wednesday show coming up. We're going to be talking a little bit about questions from new collectors. Friday, we're going to have the 3 cards you need for your retro PC. And we're going to have some cool stuff on there. I don't know if I'll get anything posted Thursday. I might if I have some time. Saturday, we're going to drop another video. I have no idea what. I have a couple rips. EP keeps saying he's going to record stuff, and that's never going to happen. So don't worry about that. We have like 30 videos in the hopper from Joe. What do you think?
Yeah. I was just going to say, you can see it over my shoulder right here. Look at that. You can see my mat. I cleaned off.
When
we are done today, I'm going to record 3 episodes. When we're done today, I have cards set aside over there. You can't see them, but they're like right off camera. Cards set aside that are going to.
We can't see them. All we see behind you are cards. I don't.
Well, not on this side. You can see those cheese boxes, but you can't see the actual stacks of cards that I have set aside. So
I will tell the viewers this. If EP actually records content, I will drop the first episode of EP's new show on Saturday. So if you log on Saturday morning and it's a rip from Joe or a rip from me, he didn't.
Failed again. EP failed again.
Yep.
The pressure is on you now, EP. Viewers want to hear what you have to say. I don't. Joe doesn't, but the viewers might.
No. Oh, and actually, that reminds me of rips. If you enjoyed the Strange New Worlds rip and you watched that, I actually have a Star Trek Master Series rip on the channel already. Has under 100 views. Let's get that one up over 100 views. Let's show Mike that people love Star Trek. Come on, let's do it. So go to our channel page, search for Star Trek and Star Trek Master Series should pop up there. Let's get that one over 100 views. That is my challenge to the viewers today.
And
I
if
love
you're
the look on Mike's
bored,
face.
go back to Saturday's video, my Donkey Kong rip. Like nobody's
Yes.
watching it. Like, come on, guys. Retro video games, Mario rookie card. Come on. We need to I did a great job editing
Not the
that video.
Jumpman rookie card.
Jumpman, yeah, that's what they originally called him. It's kind of like
I just watched the Mario movie, by the way. FYI.
Oh, that's a great movie.
It's
great.
actually
It's so
a
much
really,
fun.
really
So
good
much-
movie.
yes.
I enjoyed it
Absolutely.
very much. Yeah.
And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, hit the dang subscribe button, would you please? We're
Yes.
closing in on 1,000.
Yes.
I don't know why this is important to me, but it is. Like 1,000.
It's like that the threshold of 1,000
Yes.
feels like
It's
so
the threshold
important.
of greatness.
Yeah, it
even
really
though
is.
it's really not. But still,
Well,
it would
also,
be
I'm
an
gonna-
accomplishment for 3 idiots like us.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna unbox, open up that sealed baseball that was
Yes,
from my
I
dad's
almost
collection.
got
That who knows what that is. It might just be a baseball, but it might be autographed. I don't know what it is. But anyhow, I'm gonna open that up once we get to 1,000 on a live stream. Once we get to, or maybe the regular podcast, I think we said. But once we get to 1,000, I'm gonna open that up.
We're doing on
And Angie's gonna shave his head.
No, that is
He's gonna let me shave his
that's
head.
Never gonna
He's
happen.
gonna let me shave his head. If we
That
get to
definitely not
1,000.
gonna happen because no, absolutely not.
Maybe he'll open the baseball while he's eating all of this gum.
While I'm shaving his head.
While
Check,
shaving
check,
yes.
check.
That would be fantastic.
That would
Wow.
be so good.
Listen,
You don't
okay.
get content like that from the sports card, Dad. I'm
No,
just saying.
Dustin's not. We love
If we can
Dustin,
make
but
all
he's
three of
not
those things
doing that.
happen, all three of those things happen at the same time, I'm in. Okay, I'll do it.
I will drive
No,
to Danville.
I'm not. No,
I heard that.
I'm not gonna shave my head.
I
I'm
will
not gonna shave my
totally
head.
clip that out, and you have committed to doing it.
Dang it!
Well, as if the all the talk about Star Trek isn't enough, I heard a rumor. So the 3 of us have this little thing. If we want to do something, we always
Oh,
ask people that we know are going to confirm what we want to do, and they're going to tell us to do it.
yeah.
I sign on to Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, and I see a tweet from Joe Day. He never does. And he's like, I'm thinking about buying product X. Should I do it? Like, come on, Joe. Tell everybody what you want to do and have them tell you in the comments, do it.
And tell a
Well,
friend to tell him.
And tell a friend too. And have them subscribe.
So I was looking at the upcoming releases from Rittenhouse, which is the company that makes Star Trek cards. They make a lot of other non-sports stuff
Mhm.
too. Really, I mean, underrated.
Awesome.
company
Yes, awesome.
In terms of the cards, they used to have the Marvel license before Upper
Mhm.
Deck, and they had some really nice Marvel cards. They're releasing Star Trek Picard seasons 2 and 3 together. It's in one set. Thinking about buying a case. I'm thinking about it. It's a 12-box case. It's so stupid. I shouldn't do it. There's no reason to do it. There's zero reason to do it. Like, I could buy a box and just be happy opening up a box. But then I saw the pre-ordered case price and I'm like, well, it's cheaper per box if I do
Mhm.
that.
Definitely.
And the odds of me getting a Patrick Stewart autograph are pretty high if I open up an entire case. The checklist, the autograph checklist looks really good. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I'm torn. Now, I will say this. I haven't told you boys this yet. It's either a case of that or for a little bit more money, and by a little bit more, I mean twice as much money. They're actually coming out with Fleer Ultra Wolverine.
Mm.
Or
Mm.
you could do both.
No, I'm not buying both. I am not
Wait.
buying
What's
both.
the timing? Maybe open one and then you make enough money off that one to be able to buy the other one.
I'm not making money off the
Or-
card. Let's be honest, because
Maybe you make enough
here's the
to
thing.
make them.
The card out of the Picard set that would
Mhm.
probably make the money back is the Patrick
the
Stewart
auto.
autograph, and I'm not giving that up. That's going in the PC. So, like, what am I gonna do? Sell the sets for like $15 a pop? Get like 75 sets out there? I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just-
but you are on the biggest Star Trek card podcast
That's
on
possible,
all of
yeah.
YouTube.
Yeah.
So you could probably
out
sell
there.
the sets for like $80, $90.
I mean, I could pump it up. I could autograph the checklist or something, and that would be a big seller.
Does
Yeah.
Star Trek come out first? Does Star Trek come out first?
It
What
does.
comes out?
Yes.
So I mean,
It's
you can make
March
enough
and
of.
April.
you can make enough of the money back, maybe not make a profit, make enough of the money back to be able to do both.
If it was reversed, I would consider both, because I could make the money back on the Wolverine case. I'm pretty sure I could.
That's settled then. It's settled. Yeah. It's settled.
You'll be a little bit in the hole after the Star Trek, but then you'll make it back on the Wolverine and it'll even out. Yeah.
Also, if I ripped a case of Picard and got 2 Patrick Stewart autographs, I still wouldn't sell them. They'd still be in my PC. I'm not keeping those.
My thinking on this 100% is I would absolutely, I think the amount of joy Joe would have opening a case of Star Trek, it would just be like, this is the most amazing video. Like I would love that. So if we have to vote, I'd vote for that, but I really think you should try to do both. I think you should.
And I vote for Wolverine. So like, you don't really want to disappoint one of us. I think you have to do both. Well, you know,
see what happens.
EP and I went to a card show this past weekend. Imagine that. The two of us going to a card show.
Shocking.
Yeah. Pretty good time. EP, he walked out of there with his hands full.
Literally.
He bought so much. Yeah, literally. He was like this. I was worried he was gonna die. I didn't think he was gonna make it to the car. That's how much he bought. So
it wasn't that heavy. I did.
Really
a couple of guys that I set up next to at a card show last year, Lucas and Hunter. We talked about them on the show before. Their family owns a lumber mill and they make their own cases to display cards in. And I bought a case. I already spent all of my money that I took to the show, so I had to borrow money from Mike to pay for the case. But I had an extra case in there. And they're making these and selling these with local lumber and everything. I think, and they are really nice cases. Mm-hmm. And so I've been talking to them about maybe getting one, and they had an extra one. This the second show I've been to, where they had an extra one, and I was like, you know what, I'm setting up at a show next month. I'm not going to see them until after that show. I want to make sure I get that case. So I was able to pick it up, and as Mike said, though, it is not a small case. It's going to take up most of one of the tables that I'm going to get for the show. So I mean, it's a really cool case. Yeah. So it's locally made, which I love, and made by like local people, and so it's really cool. And I told them, they gave me a deal on the price, and I said I'm going to make sure to put a note on, a little sign on there saying, hey, this is locally made with a locally lumberyard. I'm going to make sure to say, if you're interested in getting one, ask me about it, and just going to let them know how to get in contact with those guys.
The roof of the Tesla, like exactly how did that get home?
Oh, it fit in the trunk.
Well, no, it fit in the trunk. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. As we were walking up to the car, I was like, "Oh, wait, is this going to fit in there?" And Mike's like, no problem. Don't worry about it. He said.
Yeah, I don't have all that extra like car stuff in my car, so it has a really big trunk and a frunk. So there you go. Yeah, I didn't spend enough money, so I felt like I needed to give EP a little bit there because I had so much on me that I was like, here, EP, go have fun, buy yourself a case. So yeah, and that was our trip to the card show. So
wait, what? Did you buy anything?
I don't think I bought anything, did I?
I saw on Twitter that you bought.
Pretty sure you bought some stuff. Pretty sure you bought some stuff.
I was ready to move on. Everybody was ready for us to move on. Okay, I might have bought a couple things. I bought like one box of cards, so like just a little shoebox. Really not a whole lot. It was full.
Yeah. I asked Mike the over under, and I'm not going to say the price because I'm not, whatever. But I said over under X, and he goes over. Like it wasn't even like kind of over, like over. He was like, oh no, over. I'm like, Jesus.
Spent a little bit. I did. Here was the problem. I went to look at cards, and I had pulled out a bunch of money out of my accounts, and then I didn't spend as much as I thought I would spend. Therefore, that leftover money like kind of instantly became like free money. Even though it was my money, I already took it out of the account. So like I turned it into cash. Now I had to spend it. So I had to go, and I was looking to buy, and I bought. And our old buddy Kevin, let's call him Card Show Kevin. I think he needs a nickname. Okay. Card Show Kevin.
Card Show Kevin.
I again bought quite a bit. Thank you, Kevin. Card Show Kevin. And yeah, I came home with a whole bunch of 90s inserts, cool cards, rookie cards. Yeah. I don't even know what my favorite purchase was, but I have some cool stuff. Follow me on Twitter. You'll see the stuff that I got.
Speaking of card show, Kevin, he's got a show coming up, which I'm going to be setting up at in in Muncie at a church in Muncie, and we'll have more details about that as we get closer. I do have a paper, a flyer with all the information on it, but I'll be setting up at that. It's a benefit show to benefit the Pennsylvania Food Bank. So it's a very, very cool thing.
You have a case to use to put your cards in?
I do. That's the case. So, and also, I dug through a couple boxes, mostly 50-cent boxes. I got a few things. Mostly, a lot of it was PC stuff / stuff to sell. And here are 2 Vince Carter cards that I got to add to my PC out of the stuff that I got, which are
EP bringing
cool
props.
So yeah, I mean, I put them aside to make sure to bring them up. But it's yeah. So I rated one guy's 50-cent box and actually did really, really well on that. So
Here, give me an hour. I'll go get my stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to it this week, guys. There is a huge controversy going on in the hobby. I'm even afraid to bring it up, but the Tom Brady Bowman draft card was photoshopped. Right?
Oh no!
Like, what are we going to do? And it wasn't only photoshopped.
This is the bad part. This is
Actually the bad part. I'm joking, but there is a point I want to make here, and I want to throw it out in the world. You could disagree with me if you want to, but I feel like there's a little bit of a difference between photoshopping a picture of a player or airbrushing them back in the day and changing the jersey or the logo and the hat of that player's picture, and taking a picture of a completely different human being and superimposing somebody's face on it. The latter is what turned out that the Tom Brady card was. I forget the name of the player. I should have looked it up. I did know it and it's escaping me right now. But the picture in the Tom Brady card is not Tom Brady's body.
Darren Fletcher.
Thank you. And it is Tom Brady's face superimposed on Darren Fletcher's. The rest of it's Darren Fletcher. Even the hat, I believe, is Darren Fletcher. But there's a difference to me between the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card where they airbrush the Seattle Mariners logo on the hat. And, like as a collector, I collect Paul Heyman, right? If there was a card of somebody's body, like it's not Paul Heyman and they superimposed his face, I am not really interested in buying that card. The Brady card is a gimmick card from the get-go. We all know that. But a couple points I want to make is I do think it's completely different if you're taking somebody else's body and picture and throwing somebody's face on it. And yes, we know that this has been happening forever. We've been in the hobby since the 90s. I know it happened back then. It happened before then. That, like, people who think it's a little weird they use somebody else's body, we're not stupid. We're not dumb that, oh, Photoshop doesn't have. Come on. Where are you pulling this out of your ass? Like, that is not the thing. The whole thing is maybe some people, and if you don't have a problem with it being somebody else's body, I don't care. That's fine. This isn't the end of the hobby. It's not a huge deal. But at the end of the day, there are going to be some people, if you take a card of somebody else's body and superimpose their face on it, they might not want that card. That's it. Go ahead, EP.
I have many thoughts about this. First one, Darren Fletcher played for like 14 seasons. He was an all-star one of the year. Like, he actually had a really good MLB career, but better than any of us could have done, of course.
Better than Tom Brady.
Better than Tom Brady in MLB. But one of the things that I think about, and I shuffled some cards over here to pull this thing up.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Miguel Cabrera rookie card with Denny Bautista's face on it. And you wonder if somebody just dropped the ball and forgot to superimpose Miguel Cabrera's face on this one. And that's what happened, is that they did the photo. And that was the thing. Like, he's wearing the Marlins uniform. Like, you could definitely say that would be, could fit for Miguel Cabrera's body at the time. So you wonder if, again, like you said, Mike, it's been going on forever. And you wonder if they have a card like this that is, I mean, they obviously knew the kind of buzz it was going to create again, lazily. I think I said that, used that word when we talked about it before, like, to lazily do something like this, or well, maybe the Wembanyama rookie, but to lazily do something like this and just to think, oh, well, we've done it for a bazillion other cards. Let's just do it for this one too. And so that's my thinking. There is like, but this is again like Mike said, this card was supposed to be special, supposed to be this thing that they were going to do with obviously like you could argue the greatest football player of all time. And to do it with this card just feels like it was really, really gross. And again, one last take is like Darren Fletcher. I feel like he should be getting some sort of royalties or something out of this, right?
Yeah.
Like he used his body's likeness or whatever. So like, he should get a little something for this, right?
I agree. Joe. Oh,
This
here we
is
go.
Okay. So first things first, about the photoshopping, the airbrushing. I mean, one of my favorite Drew Brees cards, rookie cards, is an airbrushed Drew Brees rookie card, 2001 Bowman Chrome. His rookie card is him in his Purdue uniform, but it was airbrushed to look like the Chargers. That's fine. That's been going on, like Mike said, for a long, long time. My issue with this is actually not even the whole it's someone else's body with Brady's face, which, as an aside, they couldn't get Brady just throw on an Expos uniform.
Yeah.
For
and then like youngify his face or whatever.
And youngify his face.
If they can make Mark Hamill look young
right
in a movie, they have the technology to take a picture of Tom Brady and de-age him. Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's lazy. Very lazy.
And they're paying Brady. I guarantee you, Michael Rubin is, and they're buddy, right?
Yeah.
They're paying him a lot of money to sit in those commercials and do those silly Brady as a car dealership guy, spokesperson, in that One Tops commercial. Like, they have the money to have him do that, but they can't bring him in, throw a uniform on him for an hour and do a photo shoot. That to me, that's what's problematic here.
Bring the uniform to the commercial photo shoot.
Bring the right, like I don't know.
Snap a picture on your iPhone,
right? Like, I just don't understand. But the big thing for me is the people who were losing their minds over the Victor Wembanyama card, a base Prism card. Sure, there are parallels and everything, and it's the rookie, it's the collector's rookie card. It's like the one that everyone wants in the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Losing their mind over what is basically going to be a low-end rookie card because Prism is going to be in retail and there's going to be a bajillion of these, right? Mm-hmm. Losing their minds to the point where some dumb people even said, oh man, Fanatics should just show the lawsuit and put this card in lawsuit because they would win it in a heartbeat because of how terrible Panini is. Look at this. Are silent and actually offended the people are questioning this Brady stuff. That's the part. Aggressively.
Yeah.
Like, it is mind-blowing to me that they can do a 30-minute think piece on this Victor Wembanyama card from their Southwest home in Indiana, and they can complain about it constantly and then make fun of people questioning this Brady card, which, keep in mind, is worth, in some cases, over $100,000. If you don't see the difference there, why are you in this hobby? Why do people look up to you in this hobby? Why do people constantly view your crap in this hobby if you don't see the difference? It infuriates me to make fun of someone who might have a problem with this. And this is with no alcohol in my system, by the way. That tells you something. But it infuriates me where you are making fun of collectors who are upset about this card, but then lose your mind about the Wembanyama card. Certain people say they're not getting anything from Fanatics. Maybe that's true, but they're sure as hell they are going out and trying to do a little bit of a Fanatics. Look at me. They're doing a little audition to get some Fanatics money with this defense of this bullshit card. It is infuriating.
I'm not on Twitter, nay X, as much as you guys are. But
I'm not either. This is not Twitter.
No.
This is not
So I haven't seen as much of this outrage as you guys. But I bet you a large percentage of those people that are complaining about the Brady card were also saying, why not just Photoshop the basketball court onto the back of the Wembanyama card? So they would like kind of be okay with that one, but then not okay with the Brady one, which is, I mean, again, that's a little bit different, but it's still the same thing. You're still using Photoshop to manipulate the image.
I'd rather have the Wembanyama card. It's he's standing in front of a curtain on top of a basketball court. It's an actual picture. I'd rather have that. It's his body. I don't think it's Tim Duncan. Like, I'm cool with this.
I mean, we can't be sure though. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like at this point.
Well then Panini does a better job of photoshopping because no one figured that out if it is
Right.
actually Tim Duncan. But like, give me a real photo.
Yeah.
Like Stadium Club is coming out this week, right? Top Stadium Club, the best photography ever in the history of the hobby. Them and Fleer Ultra, right? Top Stadium Club coming out this week, and it just kind of cracks me up that we're having this discussion the week that the set with the best photography in the hobby is coming out, because this Brady thing, again, I'm not going to buy the card, but if I knew that this thing was just Drew Brees' body with Brady's head, that would piss me off. I wouldn't want it.
Yeah, it
Like-
would make a difference.
Yeah.
And like maybe not for everybody, and do the hobby the way you want to. Like, I kind of feel like the aggressively defending it is just as weird as anybody who's like crying that, oh my God, the whole hobby's going to fall apart because of it. Like,
Right.
it is what it is.
Everybody
like,
relax.
Really, like,
Right.
but like we talked about the Wembanyama card last week. Be consistent. Like, don't be lazy. You can fix it or do it better. And that's the whole point for Panini and for Fanatics. Like, they had opportunities to have Tom Brady pose for a photo. Like, they had many. They're paying him a lot of money. So, like, regardless of whether or not people do Photoshop and what they needed to do to it, like, just don't use somebody else's picture from long ago. Like, that's just a little weird. There's a better way to do it. Why didn't they do it? Like, they're like you say all the time, Joe, they're the only show in town in a couple years.
Yep.
Put a little bit of effort into that major card. That's the point that people are missing that are defending what they did.
That's why I'm much more offended by the Brady thing, because Panini's done soon. And people are like, oh, they're just proving they don't care anymore. Yeah, they don't. They're done. Topps and Fanatics are taking everything over. They need to at least prove they care to us, don't they? A little bit, maybe at the beginning, at least to lure us in and pretend like they're going to give a shit. And then in 5 years, fine, be like Panini in 5 years, whatever. We're used to it, right? I don't think you can get away with doing stuff like this from the jump. And they've been doing a lot of stuff like this from the jump. Yeah. And you got to be a little bit concerned if you're a Fanatics fanboy. And we joke around about EP and being one. He's not really, but maybe. But like,
he's not sharing the money with us.
Yeah, if he's getting paid, we're not getting any of it. But yeah, I don't understand the vitriol from the Wembanyama stuff. And it was the same people. Like, people had vitriol about the Wembanyama stuff. And then the next week they're like, "Oh yeah, nothing wrong with Brady. Looks good." What?
Again, I feel like one of the concerns is I think they've been doing it a long time. And I really think somebody dropped the ball and forgot to Photoshop.
Specifically, apparently, right? That's
a
Bowman card. Is that a Bowman card made by Topps?
Bowman. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like they just felt like we've been doing this for so long. And one of the issues was, like, I think the card they used was from like 1995. Of Darren Fletcher, when that was like the year I believe he was an all-star. So of all the Darren Fletcher cards that you might remember him for, that's probably the one that people remember. So it feels like, again, like they've just been doing it for so long, and they've done it with so many different players and stuff that they've never been caught. So you wonder, it'll be interesting to see if they do shift things or if they just keep doing what they're doing. I'm guessing they probably keep doing what they're doing. But anyhow, that was.
I think we can all agree, no matter what side of this you're on, that at least if you're going to do that, use the Mariano Rivera 1992 Bowman photo and put Tom Brady's face on that. That would have made it a classic card.
Isn't he wearing like a mint-colored shirt, like a mint-colored polo or something like that? I think.
Yeah.
The
Kmart
Bowman
photos.
The gift keeps on giving. Like, really so fantastic.
Yep.
Oh well, the Alton Insights released their 2023 sports card and collectible market report, and spoiler alert, things don't look good for the hobby. Crashing. Everybody's cards are going to zero. I mean, we'll probably be out of business in 2 weeks. So
wait, this is the business? What are we doing?
Well, kind of.
Keep it going.
Anyway, all joking aside, the report found that Ultra Modern was down 34.8% in 2023 over 2022. Modern cards from 83 to 2010, I think they designate it as down 30.8%. Vintage was actually down 16.1%, and pre-war vintage was down 6.5%. Some other findings: the Q4 six-figure auction sales were down 40% from Q4 of 2022, and also down 27% over Q3. It was the lowest number in the last 3 years. Football is down 41.6%. That's like a huge hit. Basketball's down 27.4%. Baseball's down 17%. And one other interesting thing was the seven-figure basketball sales over $1 million in 2023, there were none. And in 2022, there were 12. So, I mean, I believe last year when we did this, we talked about the same thing, but a lot of these numbers are talking about that ceiling. And it not surprising to anybody. We all know that the high price stuff is not as high price as it was. You know, people aren't paying $1 million for a Justin Herbert RPA now when they were, and they're not doing.
No, they're spending $1 million for a CJ Stroud card. Isn't that what? Did they switch over to him yet?
Not quite. But yeah, I mean, again, like the numbers are going to be majorly affected by the huge sales not taking place like they were. So, you know, if you're watching our channel, you're probably not that affected by these numbers, but they are interesting to look at and talk about.
I'm sure the folks that collect vintage and pre-war stuff are like, they looked at those numbers and say, see, vintage is up. They somehow in their mind it's down less. So it's probably up because people talk about vintage quite a bit. Like, is EP writing while we're talking? What is happening?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I like. I have a lot of thoughts, so I'm just trying to remember them. So
that's smart. That's actually a good idea for you because they kind of lose. I don't know. I mean, you're right, Mike. We talk about this a lot. How you have these big fish coming into the hobby, they splash a lot of money, and then all of a sudden they're gone because they either don't want to be left holding the bag. Like that Brady from last week, 158,000. Someone's going to hold the bag on that. It's probably the guy who bought it for 158,000.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, like, especially with all this news coming out that the Brady card is ruining the hobby and all that, but like I can't understand why people don't see these large sales and think I probably should not be spending $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 on a card. Like it just, as much as I love some of the expensive cards, I can't bring myself to like that doesn't seem like a smart idea to me. And I don't feel bad when people do that and they lose a lot of money. I just don't.
Joe's consistent with that. Okay, what do you have written down there, buddy?
Well, I mean, I just have a handful of points, but the first one is there are going to be some content creators out there who are going to be like, the sky is falling, this is an apocalypse. Like their headlines, their clickbait headlines are going to be like, this is the end of the hobby as you know it. But the bottom line is anybody who's what's that?
That's what we're putting, right, Mike? We got
absolutely
right, yeah. But anybody who's been in this hobby knows that was the boom after the pandemic was completely unsustainable. There's no way it was going to happen. Absolutely not. And then you look at like you said, football took a huge hit, but that's because, I mean, the
players.
Herbert, the Herbert, the Burrow, all those guys that were driving these huge sales. Like it's all on the high end stuff, right? All this high end stuff is coming down because Herbert and Burrow, they're not living up to the expectations. Obviously, Burrow went to the Super Bowl in his rookie or second year or whatever.
Year.
Yeah, I mean, there's room for them to go, but they were just so astronomically high that it was destined to come down.
Well, and the injuries too. That's not just Burrow, but there were players all across the NFL.
Justin Fields,
so there's a lot of players missing time. Trevor
Lawrence not working out. Yeah,
he's not working out. Yeah, so there are a lot of players that you're going to get those ancillary things happen that you have no control over.
Right. And basketball is the same way where, I mean, yes, they have Wembanyama now, but they've had a couple years where like Zion Williamson was really hot, then he got hurt, and he hasn't lived up to expectations for the most part. So they've basketball has been kind of down a little bit too. And the baseball has had Shohei Ohtani, who has, just been this, I mean, he got hurt as well. So, I mean, like, so all those things are factors into all this. The one of the things that I want to make sure people remember is we also in 2023 had the 3 record largest sales of cards in the history of the hobby. Mm-hmm. So like there's still stuff going on in that super high end and the vintage and everything like that. So like I'm going to stress there are going to be people out there saying this is the end of the hobby, and it's not. It is the natural normal thing. Everything, I feel like everything is fine. Again, I don't own any Justin Herbert RPAs, so I'm not in that universe where these people are looking at things. The sky is falling, but for most of the collectors out there, the sky is not falling. Just keep doing what you're doing. Enjoy the hobby.
There's still a lot of interest too. We went to the card show.
Yes,
and there were a lot of people there. And
we got there like a half hour early, and there were people, like tons of people already there.
Yeah,
they weren't even technically open yet.
There were like, to try to get to some of the tables, even at this little dead mall local show, you had to wait till people moved away from the table to be able to get in and look at stuff. It was, there were a lot of people there, and I think you still see that across the board. There have been a lot of card shows locally too. We're not in a big area, and there have been a lot of shows, and all of them though have a lot of people there, and there is a lot of interest in it. We've always talked about how these cards aren't worth what people are paying. This is all it is. Like for the most part, it's a correction of, okay, that Justin Herbert RPA was never worth $1 million. It might be worth whatever it's worth now, like might not even be worth that, but still people are being a little more reasonable with the amount of monies they're putting out. They're just not going in thinking, oh, I can pay whatever I want for this because in a year I'm going to be able to flip it and double my money. And that's where a lot of those ridiculous numbers came from. They were speculators thinking they were going to get a lot of money out of it, and now they know they're not. And I think even though, I mean, this is a continued correction, I think at some point the bottom's here, right? Jeff Wilson told us that.
Jeff Wilson said that a year ago. I think I called him a fraud.
Might have been a little early on that one. Yeah.
But. I really think the bellwether, and we keep talking about this effing Brady card, but I think the bellwether was that only went for 158,000. We were on the live stream and it was at 151. And we were kind of taking guesses on where it could go. It might have been the pod before, but we were taking guesses where it might go. And then we see it only went for 158, and we were thinking it was going to go over 250. So maybe people are starting to smarten up. Maybe people are realizing some of these pieces of cardboard are not worth 6 figures. And to EP's point, like you have the top 3 sales, I think it's almost like the super duper uber high end are still going to have their place because they're cards that are rare, one of a kind ish, right? Like, oh my God, there's a PSA 10 Mickey Mantle. We're going to go out. We're going to spend money on that. And then there's going to be the people like us who are, EP, you fit in this category kind of sort of like $500 and below. You're way below, but still like $500 and below, I think is a really healthy spot where people can go to a show, see something they can spend, $50 to $100 to maybe up to $500 on. And I think that's safe. And then those $1.50 boxes, they're going to always have traffic. It's that almost, it feels like 1,000 to 100,000. I'm sure there's tiers between, but there's like this massive area where it's like, if you spend this much on a card, up to this much on a card, you either have to have money that you don't care what happens to it, or I mean, I don't know. You really are that dumb that think cards are going to keep going up, up, up when all the evidence is proving it's not.
Yeah,
in that range anyway.
One of the things, like when you said $500, I was thinking about it when we were talking about the cards. It's like the Justin Herbert RPAs should be a $300 to $500 card, right? Not thousands and thousands of dollars, not $10,000 or whatever. Like I feel like that's where that card kind of should be. And it's that even at 500, it's still not something that I would want. But I've told you guys, there's my Chargers helmet up there. right up there. Like you guys know that I got that when I was in high school, and so I'm like a Chargers fan with Natron Means and Stan Humphries back in the day when they went to the Super Bowl and stuff. So I've been kind of a little bit of a
Alfred Papunu, that son of a bitch,
and Junior Seau. Like I love that team. So I'm like I would love to have a Justin Herbert, like a good rookie, like a nice rookie of his. But there's no one going to pay the prices, and even at $500 would be too much. But I feel like the prices people were paying, and like it's coming down. But even still, it's never going to come down to the levels where it probably should be. Even though it is like I mean, until he's done playing, maybe. But like even right now, even at $1,000 or whatever the prices are right now, I feel like there's probably still overpriced. So there's probably even room for those cards to continue to go down.
And
right?
a lot of that too is because of the price of the product that it's coming out of.
Right.
Like wax is so high that like you kind of have to artificially bump up those rare cards out of it, or else nobody would buy it. So you need to be convinced that is a $20,000 card instead of a $2,000 card, because you're paying $3,000 for the box. So if it's not worth 20, what's the point of buying it?
Yeah. Cost of wax and the cards coming out of it have outpaced inflation wildly. Like, you talk about the Justin Herbert RPA, maybe let's say the hype around Justin Herbert from now or a couple years ago, a similar player in say 2000, 2001, something like that, like a rookie coming out with a high-end card. That card probably was back then worth like $300.
Chad Pennington.
I mean, I don't think the hype was as big for for Chad Pennington as it is for Justin Herbert. But let's just say there was a player like that. That card probably should be worth $300 to $500 back then. Well, what's the inflation of $300 to $500 back then to now?
Like
it's not
$100,
right? It's not $100,000. But the same thing with wax. Like a high-end box of SP Authentic was what, like $100, $150?
Yeah,
maybe
about 125, 150.
Like that would be the equivalent of, maybe $500 to $800, not $10,000 like some of these things are. We were talking about the Picard case at the beginning of the show. That's $1,500 for 12 boxes of cards. Okay, I could buy one first off the line Prism box for that. I just can't wrap my mind around that, and it's just absolutely crazy. So yeah, to EP's point, that card probably should be whatever the inflation value of a $300 to $500 card from back then is. So maybe $1,000. It's not $100,000 card, and it should never have been.
Couple other random notes from the market. LeBron James and Steph Curry cards were down 40%, while Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant's were pretty much stable, which was interesting. Which again shows how like the newer ultra modern high price stuff, it just isn't holding value because it never had it to begin with. The late 1990s Michael Jordans made up of 5 of the top 10 Michael Jordan card sales in 2023 and 3 of the top 5, which is interesting. And there was not one PSA 10 1993 SP Derek Jeter sold in 2023.
Wow.
What's
the
assumption is because the price dropped quite a bit in 2022 that the people that have them are like, yeah, I'll wait. So but how crazy, like there aren't a lot of them.
Right. The profit's gotta be low, right? Super low.
For a card like that to not have one single sale for a whole year is like kind of mind blowing. Crazy at this point.
I wonder how many Jordan 10s went, PSA 10s were sold.
The rookie, you mean the rookies, the Jordan rookies?
Yeah.
Not sure.
You're asking me information I don't have. So. But I'm sharing the information I have. I didn't do the research. I just read the research.
I feel read some research on that Jordan
they
card.
Did not have specifics about the Jordan rookie card in it.
Jeter's one of the most beloved and the storied Yankees. Even though you question whether it was obviously the captain of some World Series like winning teams. There are a lot of people that question about as far as like his performance as compared to some of the other greats. But still, he's one of the most collected, especially like our generation and the generation maybe behind us and in front of us. And I feel like so that card is, and that is the iconic Jeter card. So to have zero sales of that, like you said, to drive home your point, Mike, to have zero sales of that is really, really telling about what kind of where the market is as far. I mean, like I agree with you that there's like I'm not selling this card because this card is freaking awesome. Like, to get a 10 on those cards with that foil on the front, like to get a 10 is just like there's like you said, low pop's the pop is probably going to be super low. So
yeah, and I mean the value is taking a hit on it too, but it's kind of like wrestling card collectors. Like the wrestling card collectors that have those special cards like that don't get rid of them. Like they don't. Like that's something that doesn't necessarily translate to sports, but I wonder with Jeter being as popular as he was and that pop count being so low, there are probably a lot of people that once they obtain that card, they're like, this is going with me to the grave. So
they might sell like 2021 prices or 2022 prices. You know what I mean? Like during the pandemic, the boom or whatever. Some people, smart people, would probably sell it during that time because they know they could buy it back. You know, a couple years later. Like, but otherwise, if they're just not going to sell it, like you said.
Now, Mike, you said there were no PSA 10 Derek Jeter rookie cards. How many of the, I believe it's called the Arena Club grading company? Which grading company is it on?
Yeah, Arena Club.
Arena Club.
Yeah.
How many Arena Club 10s do you think were sold? I think that's why we haven't seen any PSA 10s
That
because
could
everyone
be,
is
everybody
cracking them
it over
and cross it over to the Arena Club.
That
makes sense to me. Yeah.
Total sense to me.
Every one of those years, every one of those years that shows up the Arena Club, that's a 10. That's a 10. That's a 10.
There are no PSA 10 Derek Jeters.
There are none left. They were cracked and resubmitted to Arena Club. And if you want to hear more about this, check me out on Pat McAfee tomorrow. All my conspiracy theories are going to be on Pat McAfee tomorrow.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Well, one card that's a modern card that actually is breaking records, Caitlin Clark. Her Superfractor autograph out of Bowman U is currently on auction for PWCC. It is at $20,400 and it's not even done yet. I think it has like about a week to go. It is already the highest women's basketball card sale of all time. So, I mean, I think that's actually pretty cool. If like she's amazing. Like, so like as crazy as I think it is for the card to be any card to be selling for $20,000, I'm kind of happy hers is because like I talk about how Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux were like so far ahead of like other people they played with. Like she's in that group too. Like she's redefining that. Like I sent a bunch of her cards in to PSA on the new PSA order I have because like I'm hoping to get a 10 on one and maybe on a couple of them and sell a couple and keep one because I think she's really cool. And I think this is really awesome that setting the record already.
Yeah, I assume Serena's rookie is the Sports Illustrated or whatever. Is that probably the number one women's just in sports card? You would think. I think
some people have said that this card probably might break the record for the most like the highest of women's sports sale of all time. Possibly, I've seen that. Heard that might end up being the card that breaks that Serena Williams record. But I'm pretty sure you're right that Serena Williams. I didn't double check that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is awesome, but again, to your point, Mike, I mean, should any card really be worth that much money? Is very true. It would be nice to see more female athletes with like high end cards. I think that would be a lot of fun, like especially with women's soccer and things like that being much better than the men's team. You know, in general, I think it would be nice to see some of those players have some high-end cards. I don't know if there's a women's soccer set specifically. Yeah. So
I
don't know either. Like there should be.
Yeah, you
really should be.
Yeah, I think they have women's soccer in like the regular FIFA products and stuff, but it's not. I don't think they're on. I don't think they have their own sets. So
I think the problem is they don't have as much following in the
international,
like EP, yes, like the international, like they don't have a Manchester United. They don't have like those major women's soccer teams like that people know of. So that's probably why they don't. But yeah.
Well, Spain had I think they had a woman who won the Ballon d'Or, the MVP 2 years in a row. Then they had another player also still on the team, who won for like a third year in a row the last couple of World Cups. So I mean, they have a really awesome international team. You hope that that kind of drives it and stuff. I did Google. I looked up in 2022, a Serena Williams Net Pro signed patch rookie card sold for $266,000 on Golden Auctions, which is the highest ever, and that was the previous mark was 117,000. So this Caitlin Clark's card has a little ways to go.
Yeah,
so
it's not going to
yeah,
get there.
Yeah.
But.
No, it's not going to get there. So yeah, but I did when I was looking up just a minute ago. I was looking something up. But Paige Buchers is a player for UConn, and there are some people who are kind of saying that like, when Caitlin Clark and Paige Buchers both make it to the WNBA, they could be like the Bird and Johnson type of players, and really kind of like, I mean, the WNBA's got a lot of work to a lot of work to do to get to like any sort of like the NBA level or anything like that. But you get two players like that, if they get into some big battles throughout their careers, and they're throwing up like 40-point games and doing the amazing stuff that Caitlin Clark is doing in the NCAA, like it could be kind of fun to watch that and see maybe WNBA grow and WNBA cars and stuff grow. I really think that'd be fun for me anyway.
Yeah,
I think I mentioned this on the live stream too, and I doubt we have. I mean, the analytics of how many female viewers we have, but
probably none.
Probably not.
I'm gonna take a wild guess.
Yeah. But Amy, does Amy watch us?
No.
Okay, so we have zero. But my point was, imagine if those two women came into the WNBA and women got behind that league and started. There are more women out there than men, percentage wise. I mean, it would be really nice if women became more viewers of any sort of female sports to really push them and drive them. And they could, and especially with two players like that potentially coming into the league, you would really, really hope that they do, so it could drive that viewership up. I was looking at an article too, EP, the 10 most valuable cards of women athletes. 7 out of 10, I believe, were Serena Williams.
Right.
That puts in perspective. Mia Hamm was one of the other ones that had a couple. So it'll be interesting to see how far that card goes up all time.
All right. Well, time to get to some of the shenanigans going on in the hobby.
Wait, shenanigans happen in our hobby?
Yeah, shenanigans. Huh. I'm calling it right now. We've mentioned the whole Kurt's card care stuff before. Some people are all for it. Some people are dead set against it. But there was a 1953 Top Satchel Paige card that was a PSA 2. And a person took that card. It had a stain and some dirt on like the upper left corner of it. And the guy openly admitted he cracked that out. He used the Kurt's card care, the whatever type of the water that they had in there, cleaned that off. And then the card came back in SGC4. First of all, the big question is, did he try to send it to PSA and they caught it? It was a PSA. I kind of feel like it may have been sent to PSA and they sent it back. So then he sent it to SGC hoping to get it through, and he did, and it 2 grades higher. And I mean, he openly admitted, like, we've talked about this before, and we did kind of come to the conclusion that if you're taking something away that isn't supposed to be there, but like, I don't even know where I stand on this. It just feels ugly, but maybe I'm being a hypocrite. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
VP.
I mean, I can go ahead. I mean, first off, I feel like the 1953 Satchel Paige, like there are probably not a ton of those that end up at PSA, right? Like that's probably a relatively rare card. So I could totally see them definitely getting it and saying, wait a minute, I've seen this card before. I know this Satchel Paige. This is not the right card.
Well, could be.
Something's not right about this. And then they sent it to SGC. They had not seen the card yet. And then they
or maybe they didn't send it to PSA because they figured maybe they will.
Same. No, yeah. Right. Yeah. Same difference. Yeah. I feel like I'm right there with you, Mike. Like I feel like this feels kind of gross, but also we've said before that what our rules for what is altering a card is to make the card not what it actually is. And all the person did in this case, allegedly, is remove something on the card that shouldn't have been there. It wasn't in there when it came out of the pack in the first place, or wasn't in there when it came out of the manufacturing in the first place. So it's really, really a sticky situation. You can say the same thing for a gum stain that shouldn't be on the card. So you have people that use like the pantyhose to like clean gum stains and stuff off the back of vintage cards. Similar thing. As long as you don't end up damaging the card itself, then it looks like a much better card than it was before. So I feel like it feels like a gray area, and I really don't want to, like, I don't want to say I'm 100% behind it, but also if the card is still the original Satchel Paige and all he did was take off something that wasn't supposed to be there, I guess I'm kind of okay with letting it go. It's when they are trimming, like the trimming things off the edges that were originally part of the card, and that sort of stuff. I've said before as well. Give me a 52 mantle that is a third, like it's like 3/4 of a card that's been chewed up or whatever. Like that card tells me a story. I love those, and I can't afford the mantle, but I can afford more cards like that than I can afford a raw or like an 8
PSA 1 mantles left and right.
right. So like I love those cards because they tell a story. But I mean, we've set the rules. We kind of like said that rules are rules, and the rules are if it wasn't supposed to be there in the first place, then you can find a way to safely remove it.
And we set them.
Okay. So we set the rules. We did set the rules. So I mean, like, I feel we almost feel like a little bit of a hypocrite if we're like, oh, this person should be doing this, but it does, like Mike said, it feels kind of gross. There's something about it that feels more gross because it's a 53 Satchel Page, right? Like I think that's the part of it.
I think that's why it makes us feel gross because, you know, you'll see like a film or something on a Chrome card, and I've done this myself. I've taken, you know, a eyeglass wipe.
Joe's
Joe's card. I've taken like an eyeglass wipe, which is, you know, there's no alcohol in it, and I've wiped it down and took a microfiber because that film's not supposed to be there. It would feel weird doing it for a 1953 card, though. So, like, I'm with you, Pete, though there are some people who could say, well, those rounded corners aren't supposed to be there. That's how they were when they came out of the pack. So I'm going to get rid of those because people are stupid. And people are assholes.
This is true,
right? So you've got stupid people who say, "Oh, that's a good point," and you've got assholes who are saying, "I can take advantage of these stupid people." So it's a fine line. To the first point about why they sent it to PSA, maybe not. I mean, we know that SGC vintage sometimes even outpaces PSA, so there is the possibility that they might have even looked at comps and said, "Oh, the SGC might be worth it. We'll get it back sooner and we'll be able to sell it and not have it in our possession anymore." So that's a possibility too. But yeah, there is something just weird. There's something that feels off when you do it to a card like that. Though, who in the world feels confident to do that to a card like that?
Oh my God, I'd be sweating bullets. Like, no way I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
no
like
probably a lot more people than people like us realize.
Like I heard about this one idiot who took a BGS 9 Tom Brady and cracked it out of a case and then submitted to PSA. What kind of idiot would do that?
I was sweating just watching that happen.
We talked the other week about, you know, Chris Sewell's little scenario of like if you're cracking and resubbing a card. What do you think about this? If you cracked it out and you cleaned it and you resubbed it, do you have to let people know you cleaned it?
I mean, morally, you should. I think, you know, we're talking about the morality things, as morality gray areas, as Chris Sewell called them. Like cracking it, not doing anything different to it, just cracking it, maybe wiping it with a microfiber, which isn't really a thing. You know, that's not changing the card. Putting in a sleeve and sending it off to a different grading company and getting it graded. No, because it's just an opinion. It's just one person looking at it versus another person looking at it and giving their opinion. If you're then changing the card in some way and then submitting it, morally, should you? Probably. But will people? Definitely not. No one's going to do that.
We know they won't.
Yeah, I feel like morally it's a thing, but like technically, no, because it is now an SGC4. You know what I mean? Like, and it's in the slab, and it's been slabbed by an expert, an alleged expert, and their opinion says it's a 4 now. So I could see, I wouldn't be mad at somebody if they didn't, but I feel like if I was selling it, I might say something about that. Just because of the, again, 53 Satchel Paige is, I mean, it's a beautiful card, and like one of my favorite players of all time, and I would probably do that just to say,
if you bought the 4 though, you'd probably enjoy it and you'd never know any different.
Right.
So it probably wouldn't impact how you felt
Right.
about the card. So
Yeah.
All right. Well, our last little thing, I have another one here. I don't know if you guys know who Santiago Sports is. He was on Sports Card Radio. They did an interview with him. He ended up being in possession of a number of Panini autographs of Kyle Kuzma. They were one's numbered to 25. It was a dual autograph of Alonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma, and numbered to 10, Magic Johnson, Alonzo Ball, and Kyle Kuzma. Apparently, he showed these on Instagram. He flexed having them and stuff, but apparently, like, it never dawned on him that if I have like all but one of these numbered 25 dual autos,
What?
maybe something is up here. His story is that a representative of Kyle Kuzma had these, and when Kuzma moved, when he got traded, these cards are from years ago too. I think 2018 it might have been. I could be wrong in the year, but it's not like a current product. But when Kuzma got traded and he moved, these turned up, and he brought them in, and Santiago Sports either bought them or was consigning them or just had them, depending on what version of the story from him you want to get. But Panini saw this and sent him an email and said, you are in possession of stolen property. We want those back. Because apparently they were redemption cards.
I was just
People
gonna
got
say.
redemptions for that Kyle Kuzma must have never signed and sent back to him. Plus, the Kyle Kuzma autographs on all of them aren't real. People like said those aren't real. So that his story is it came from a representative of Kyle Kuzma and got all this stuff, and he doesn't know anything about who signed what on it and stuff. But Panini got. I'm sorry. Like, I watched the interview on Sports Card Radio, and you can think whatever you want, but like them putting this guy on to try to defend, like his basic defense was, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know this. Like anybody who is in this business, if you had all but one of the 25 and a bunch of other ones for the triples, like most of the 10 of the triple autos, you should kind of know that maybe these were ones that were supposed to be sent back that never were, right?
Were they roasting the guy, or were they like defending the guy?
No, well, I mean, they didn't have to roast him. They just let him talk, and they like, it was the one brother was doing it and just kept, very nicely throwing some questions out there, because he was just digging his hole deeper and deeper with every word that came out of his mouth. It was comical but sad to watch at the same time. But yeah, I mean, he's a hero though, because he's sending the cards back to Panini, with the fake autograph on him that we don't know who put the fake autograph on. But can I mention one thing in this though? Panini, if you're going to have Magic Johnson sign a triple auto, send them to Kyle Kuzma and Lonzo Ball first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't get the Magic autograph and then send them to Kyle Kuzma last. I'm just saying, you might want to rethink how you're doing that there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So that's what it is.
I mean, companies need to be better. Like, hopefully Fanatics is better at like getting people to sign things when they have them a representative there. Like, this whole mailing cards to people, again, must have been the pandemic is the excuse for it, but mailing athletes.
This was pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic, so, yeah. There's no excuse then.
Yeah,
there's no excuse. Like, a representative from your company should be going out and getting these autos, or they should be having folks come into a signing event or something. I don't understand why this is so difficult. I understand the logistics, right? The logistics.
They send them to them with an affidavit saying, "Yeah, I'm going to sign these." Yeah,
that's horseshit, and that's why stuff like this happens. We've talked about the janitor who found discarded Panini cards a few months ago.
Yeah. Yep. Prospects.
And it's was it a
baseball prospects? But I think it was Panini. But yeah,
okay. But like
either way,
it's bad. Like, just figure out a way to do it and do it that way. I don't know. You're a big company. Figure it out. Like, it's just so frustrating.
We need somebody to clip out Joe when Mike said it was pre-pandemic. We need somebody to clip out Joe's reaction, because that should be totally a meme that you can I can access on my phone when somebody's like, "What is going on?" Right, his reaction was so good. We definitely need to do that. This is, in my opinion, like, this is really a horrible thing. Like, I'm upset at a number of different levels on this. Like Mike said, the Irvin Johnson, getting Magic Johnson's autograph for these things, but the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest part here, and I don't know this, I don't know the Santiago Sports, I don't know them personally, but there's got to be like this massive flag that goes flying. Your radar has to go off the charts. When you're like, because this is the only people that have a collection like this where you get all 24 out of 25 or something like this.
Where's that 25th one at is what I want to
know. Maybe Kyle Kuzma decided to keep one.
He probably kept it. But like, that's got to be like a Kuzma super collector, right? So it's got to be somebody who has spent their entire life kind of like putting together this thing, like searching for that last card, trying to get all this sort of stuff. And they're not just going to give it up and give up all these number to 10s. Back when I was in high school, I had a buddy who was selling like Jerry Rice rookie cards, and he had like 10 of them. And I'm like, he's like, "You want a Jerry Rice rookie card for like $6?" It's like, "No, I'm good, thanks." Like, even then, you're like, that doesn't check out. I don't know how.
Not right here, yeah.
I don't because that was pre-eBay. You know, that was a long time ago. And like, I'm sitting there at the high school lunch table, and he's like, "Hey, you want to buy a Jerry Rice rookie card?" It's like, "No, I'm good." Because he had been selling
hysterical if he randomly did have like 10
they were real.
And he's like, "Nah, I'm good."
Like he opened like 10 cases of it or something. Like, what? No, there's no way you should.
That might be worth the risk, Pete. That might have been worth the risk.
Yeah. It was actually. Yeah. Oh well, moral to the story: somebody comes into your shop with all of these redemption cards that were never redeemed, and he has all the autographs. Maybe look into it. Just saying.
Maybe look into it.
But I think we covered it all this week. It was a pretty good chat. And I will see you next week. Take care, guys.
Adios.
See you, boys.